So this is something to keep in mind, and you guys need to discuss it amongst yourselves, because I don't mind coming all the time, even if there's only 1 or 2 people, but I need some people that will be committed. And that's usually what will happen in those courses. You will have some people, they will come 1 week, then they will disappear for 4 weeks, then they will come again. But you will have some people that will be there every week, and those are the people that I'm really interested in. If they weren't there, I wouldn't come. You understand? Because the idea is that you know, we are trying to invest in the akhirah, and we are looking for the highest ROI. We are looking for the highest return on investment. In the way we spend our time, the way we spend our energy, we want to see benefits. So people who come all the time, they're the ones that will really benefit. And then they will be able to go out and do something, inshallah. Do something better for themselves, for their families, for the ummah, and they will be able to pass on some knowledge. But if you just come and you get 1 bit here, 1 bit there, you will maybe get some good reminder and boost, but you will not be very effective in being able to go out and do something good and pass that knowledge on to others, because you will be missing some important pieces. You understand what I'm saying? So this is my opinion. This has been my experience with some of these student organizations over the past years that I've dealt with. So sometimes if you don't have a clear strategy, you don't have a good plan and vision, then you will find your activities overall, they may bring some benefit, but they won't be so beneficial. Because the idea is now you have this kind of Muslim student organization, you will have each other here, but after a year or 2, you will be out in the real world. You will not be living with each other anymore. You will not have the good reminders and the good environment. You may go back to your own countries, if you are like me, from a country where the majority are non-Muslim. So you will face many obstacles. So if you yourself are not properly prepared, you don't have a good base of knowledge, and you don't have a good sound practice and action and ibadah in your own life, then you will face a lot of problems. Because when you are in the good environment, you are with good brothers and sisters, you are on an Islamic university campus, it's one story. But when you go out to the work environment, you are working with non-Muslims, you are working with non-practicing Muslims, you are out into the real world, it's a different story. So this is something that we found with some of the Muslim student organizations. They didn't do a good job of preparing their members for going out into the real world and still being Islamic, active people who want to do good and want to make da'wah and so on. You understand what I mean? Because making da'wah amongst just Muslims and like-minded people is quite easy. You tell the person, Ittaqillah, he says, Jazakallah khair, brother, thank you. But you go out there and you say it, and the guy will slap you, or he will say, what are you telling? Why are you telling me that? You think I'm not a good Muslim, and so on. So there is that element of a need for knowledge. And we are not talking about becoming scholars, we are talking about al-ma'lum min ad-din bid-darura, the basics that every Muslim must know. And there is a good book for that. You know, there are several good books of what every Muslim should know. And this is something good to study, because many people will say, oh no, I know all of that. When you start going through it, you will be surprised. Even one of my favorite books to teach to Muslims is called A Guide for the New Muslim. It's a guide for, so sometimes people will be insulted. They say, what do you mean we need to read this? I said, because every time I read it, I benefit. And I was born and raised as a Muslim. I'm not a convert. But it's something beneficial. It gives you all these fundamentals and foundations that a Muslim should know. And sometimes, growing up as a Muslim, we never studied those things or learned those things properly. We just said we are Muslim by name and by birth, and that's it, finished. So we followed our fathers and our grandfathers, but we didn't really understand. Why do we pray like this? Why do we believe this? What are the actual details of our pillars of belief and our pillars of practice and so on? So when you start to get into it, you find this, Muslim is studying this and saying, oh, I didn't know. This is new information to me, or this is a good reminder. I forgot about these things. I studied them when I was a young child and so on. So this is just something to keep in mind. If you want, maybe I can make some suggestions. And you guys have to decide amongst yourselves that you have a group that are willing to sign up and commit, maybe register or something like that for the class. And then we take attendance and we try to make it more serious. And we make it for a set period of time. For example, for 2 months or something like that. It's not open-ended, so that people don't feel, because what happens if it's a weekly basis and it's just going on forever? People say, then what's the big deal? If I miss this week and next week and the week after, I will go after that. And it will just be the same thing, because each time I come, it's some kind of reminder about Ittaqillah, and that's it. But we're not actually getting some real knowledge that where you feel each class you miss, you will miss something valuable. And you won't be able to understand the class that comes after, because the class that came before was crucial. Does that make sense?